Good afternoon. Another day back in the shop. Got the 72 Sprint up on the lift here. Ready to start taking this thing apart. This thing is as barn fresh as it gets. I'm not sure how long this actually sat in a shed, but by the looks of it, quite a long time. There's a lot of rust on this bike. I know that the motor is currently seized. The plan for this one is to completely tear it apart, sell it in pieces. So today I'm going to try to get a few things off. I know that the fender's not on, the tank's just sitting there. So those would be the easiest things to take off. Then I would like to take the exhaust off and then kind of see where we're at for time. So with that, we'll get started. Follow along. These are pretty neat little bikes, honestly. I had one about 2 years ago, and it was in such nice shape that I had a guy that really wanted it and ended up selling it off. Kind of regret it a little bit, but you know, I know it went to a good home and I'm happy about that. I also had a Rapido that was a ton of fun. I rode that thing all over. Oh, you guys seen with this collection, I got a few bikes. Those I'd like to find some parts for. I know I've got that MX 250. I'd like to find a few of the missing pieces and see what I can do to get that going. Not sure what those screws are from, but that's what was on there when I got the bike. Hey, look at that, 2 parts off for the day. Maybe I should go home for the afternoon. Anyway, let's see about getting this exhaust off here. It looks like the back is just hung by zip ties, maybe. So there's a couple of hangers here too. So it's not completely loose on there. I've got 2 studs right at the head here. So we'll work on getting those things out. I haven't worked on one of these before, so I'm not exactly sure if this is standard or metric. I believe it's all metric. Which, if that's the case, I'll have to find the drawer that the tools are in, since I don't use a lot of metric tools. I'm a little anxious to see which parts are going to fight me and which ones are going to come off easy. Surprised at how easy some of these are coming off. I know that's going to jinx me. Eventually I'm going to run into something that's just stuck. But for now, everything seems to be removing nicely. We'll move it to the other side and get that bolt taken out. So a pretty neat setup. Your kickstand spring gone. Get a leather dog collar to hold it on. First time seeing something like that. I think once I get these head studs out, all I have to do is cut that zip tie. I don't think there's one on the other side. And I should be able to drop this exhaust. Here things starting to move. So I feel like this is going to come down nicely. The exhaust actually looks like it's in pretty good shape for what it is. The mufflers are a little rusted, but this head pipe's actually in really good condition. Just like that, it's free. Get my cutters and we'll cut that zip tie. Unfortunately, these ones are pretty shot. It's time to try to sharpen them or get rid of them. Good old Milwaukee cutters to the rescue. Well, there's quite a bit of rust in there. That's to be expected. No acorns or anything, that's always good. Not sure if you can see that. I'm not sure if that's a homemade fuse or what that is, but that's what they had in place of the fuse. It does have metal ends and a plastic center. Never seen such a thing. So I'm going to assume that didn't work really well. Probably a fire hazard waiting to happen. I'm trying to keep the wiring intact since it looks like it's all in pretty good shape. The taillight obviously was cut, which is unfortunate. It's a heck of a magnet. Didn't want to let go of the table. It's had someone's address sticker on the inside, but unfortunately it's faded so bad you can't see whose it was. And I wonder if that was the original owner. With that done, I should be able to undo this battery box here. I believe it's a 10mm. And thankfully, I've got a brand new set of tools here and I haven't lost either 10mm yet. But probably after I get done with this bike, they'll both be gone. It's a pretty neat design for the battery box. It's cool to see a flip cover. Kind of a great way to hide it, keep it concealed, and make it look nice with the bike. The sprint that I had was near the end of the run, and I think they ended the bike in 75 or maybe later, I'm not really sure. I don't know a ton of history on these, but I know it was toward the end. And that was a little different configuration from this. My other one had the higher pipe, and I believe it's got a different name. I know it was titled as a Sprint, but I think they were called something else. I think the Sprint was the road model, and this was the off-road model, I guess, like Scrambler type. I'm not really sure. Again, these aren't all things I know a ton about. See if we can get the other one off the other side now. This must have been just a document holder or something, I'm not exactly sure. Again, neat little setup. It is missing its lock mechanism that keeps the door closed. Not sure if those can be found or not. Not a lot of working room in there. The bolt's just under the lip, so I'm not able to get my socket wrench in there. Oh, there's one that's hidden on the bottom. I didn't even see that. Let's see. That angle. That's starting to come out. As I get further into this project, I'm thinking I'm going to have to start spraying some of these nuts and bolts with a penetrating oil just because they are pretty dirty. A lot of leaves and who knows what in there, kind of neat. See if we can get these plates off real quick. Got that side off. See if this side will come off as easily. It'd be nice if it would. Surprisingly enough, it's going to. I have to bring the shop vac in and vacuum up all this stuff. You can tell the mice and the squirrels and whatever have been living in this thing for a while. There's a ton of acorns in here, leaves, a lot of really gross debris. But for a barn find, you know, shed find bike, and that's to be expected. It's a pretty simple motorcycle, honestly. There's not a lot to it. Got a little spider here. Try to get him out of the way. Don't want him to get crushed. If I remember right, there's actually oil in this bike, which was surprising considering the motor is locked up. Not sure what happened there, if something got stuck down the intake, which it could be if the valves are just stuck or what's going on. I'm not 100% on how these bikes actually really work. Never taken one of the motors apart on one of these. I'm not sure where the fail points are. I feel like you should unplug, but that doesn't seem to want to. I'm not sure if that's something I'm doing wrong. I guess before I really start yanking on it, I better figure out what it is that I should be doing, because I don't feel like what I'm doing is proper. This was a fun one. I was climbing over the bike in the trailer, I didn't realize that this peg mount was broken. This completely snapped off. Thankfully, the spring is still inside, so I didn't go too far, but I did slip. Did end up bashing my leg pretty good and had a nice little laugh about it. This cotter pin's definitely seen better days. Get a pair of pliers here and try to get that straightened out. Hopefully knocked out of there. Split right in half. What a surprise. I think we'll spray that and let it sit for a little while. I think from there we're going to try to take off these peg mounts if that's an option. Not exactly sure how that comes apart. There's a bolt right here, or nut. I think I can get on it. That gets that off of there and out of the way. And I'm thinking when I drop the motor, I'm going to have to get my stand out and support the motor, because the only thing that's really holding it up is the front mount here and these frame points in the rear. I bet. I guess there's an upper carriage there too. But that's it. That's the only thing holding this thing in place. So in order to actually take this apart properly, I need to reduce the weight on there so I don't drop the motor. Don't want to damage it. I know that it's locked up, but I still feel there's good parts in there, and maybe it's something that with a little bit of time or effort, I could figure out why it's locked up, pull it apart, and hopefully get it to move again. We'll see. I mean, it could be anything. Not sure what's going on in there. Could be full of mud. I've seen that before. I took apart a shovel head motor. Oh, it's probably been quite a few years ago now. And it was locked, completely locked up. Guy didn't know why. It had been sitting for a long time, kind of laying on its side in a shed. And he didn't know what was going on with it or what had happened. Somehow, well, not somehow, there was no spark plugs in it at all, and the roof leaked on the shed, and it got enough water in it to make mud with the oil to make it pretty much solid. It was a gross mess inside. Probably the worst motor I've ever taken apart, and unfortunately, it was only really good for parts. I wasn't going to salvage it in any way to make it a good and viable motor again, so I just took it apart and sold the parts that I could, and was happy about that. was hoping that was going to come apart, but I'm guessing that's not going to be the case. Thinking that one might fight me. We'll find out. This one might turn out just fine, not sure. It's kind of fighting me a little bit. Might have to get on that with the adjustable wrench there to hold. What I'm running into is this. We'll see if this one will do it. It may not. Not sure what that's to. It's clamped on there to hold it. Guess I'll have to figure that out. Maybe. Not sure. That's where it lived, so I'm not exactly sure what it was to. I'll try to see if it'll turn. It might. See what's happening is this is turning too. So what I'm going to do is get on that with the adjustable wrench. Create a little pressure going the opposite direction. We're going to spray that just to lubricate it a little bit. Otherwise, I know I'm going to be fighting it the whole time. I don't really want to do that. I don't want to break it either. Even though these parts don't look the best, I still feel like they're good parts. Now with some of these bikes, this stuff you can't find anywhere. I know I'm noticing that with that MX 250. I know it's a little different though, but you know, these may have parts and pieces that you just can't get to, and this is all a guy needs to put a passenger on, and these are good enough. Well, there we go. I mean, they could be refinished, I feel. They're not in terrible shape. The rubbers actually look good on both of these rear pegs. Starting to get some of the oil in the threads here, so again, I don't want to break them off. It's nice having leverage of this adjustable wrench. Fighting it a whole lot less this way. Doesn't help that this back one is bent in. The mount tab that it's on is bent in. It's making it kind of a little wonky to get on. Run right in this brake lever. Would have preferred to have it out of the way, but unfortunately, it's a little stuck right now. That cotter pin is in there still. It's a slow process, but it's working. Thankfully, there is a way to get it apart. And this part's, oh, there we go. It did break. Bummer. That's a bummer. Yeah, I pushed my luck and I busted it. I was hoping that I wasn't going to do that, but I took a chance. We'll see what the other side does. Again, the rubber pegs are still in good shape, so hopefully that'll make a difference and I can actually use those. We'll see. I should have just let the oil sit on it a little bit longer. I think it would have really helped it out. I got a little over anxious and wanted to get it off of there. And that's sometimes how it goes. This one is turning really nice. I think I'm going to get it with the ratchet wrench. I think it'll work. I hope it'll work. That worked out pretty good. That one actually came apart like it should. Thankful for that. Let's see if we can get this to come out yet. It's ready. Even if half of it would pull out, that would help for the other half to have that much more space to move. Of course, it broke off. Sure if I'm going to be able to get that out of there either. It's so close it wants to. The one half is moving on the top side, so it's trying to come out of there. I might have enough meat on this to grab onto one half. Try to split them apart here. Close the top side. No, it just doesn't want to come out. Yeah, all that's really moving is one. Something I didn't realize, there's actually a nut on the back side of this. I wonder if that'll turn. Find out. Thankfully that's actually turning. So I think if I can get this to come off, I should then be able to get the cotter key out of the front side here. Once this is off, it's getting tight, so I might not be able to do this. I'm going to thread that back in. I'm going to spray it with lube here and see if I can work that back and forth. This may be one of those parts that has to sit overnight. A little pressure on there, not a ton. I'm not really fighting it, kind of fighting it, but I don't want to jeopardize it either. So far, it's getting there, close. It's getting closer. I feel like we're past the point of where it would bust. I think. Nope. I can almost turn my hand. Nope. It's close. Thought about it for a second there. Alright. Finally have the nut off. Let's see what this will do. There's a secondary nut on there. Because it locks it in place, must be. I'm probably going to get on that with a socket. So let's see if I can get on it from the other side. All right. Thankfully, I was able to get that side off. Now, got a little more movement here. I may have to unclip this spring, I'm thinking. If I can, if there's a good leverage point here to get it off of the bottom of this. Alright, gets that out of the way. I should be able to pull that. There we are. course, I've got one more cotter pin here that's pretty much nothing left. I'll have to soak that. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to soak that overnight. I'm going to spray a few more points on this bike, and we're going to let it sit. I think I pushed my luck for as far as I want to push it today. Got a few good parts off the bike. Those will be listed pretty soon. There's not a lot left to do, and hopefully it doesn't fight me the entire way. So I'm going to go through, I'm going to spray all these points so I can hopefully take the rest of this apart in the next video. So we'll give that a shot. We'll go through and start spraying things, because some of these are pretty gross. Those are pretty rusty. I figure rather than push my luck and keep twisting on these things, I'm hoping I can spray all these parts here. That'll give me the chance tomorrow to be able to take this apart. Tomorrow, the next day, I'm not exactly sure when I'll be back on this again. Some of these points may not have even needed to be sprayed, because some of them actually look good. Some of them look really bad. But some of the parts that were really bad, or I thought were really bad, actually ended up being fairly easy to pull apart. I'm kind of grateful for that. All right. So we'll let this soak for the rest of the day. This will sit this way, and we'll check it again tomorrow. And if I have time, I'll go through and I'll work on it again tomorrow. Or I'll spray it again tomorrow if I feel like the things aren't moving well enough. Anyway, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video. If you have, please feel free to give it a like. As always, I appreciate the subscriptions. I'm gaining a lot of subscribers, and I'm grateful for all of you guys. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button if you like these types of videos. And I do more than just this. I do more than take them apart. I've got a couple bikes that are in the works of being put together. The 48WL has a few parts on the way, and I'll be on that pretty shortly once I get everything in. Looking like probably at the beginning of next month I'll have parts in. Some are coming from overseas. It's kind of the name of the game, unfortunately, with some of these old bikes, is finding parts, and sometimes they're in Europe still. But anyway, if you guys like these kind of videos, please subscribe, share with your friends. Feel free to comment. If you see something that I'm doing wrong, let me know. Or if you see something that you're interested in knowing more about, again, let me know. I'll see if I can answer all of your questions. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.